Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagavaraham samma sambuddho vidyacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisadamma sarati satta deva manusana buddho bhagavati namo tassa samma sambuddhassa. Echa Buddha Atita cha Echa Buddha Anagata Pachupanna cha E Buddha Ahang Vandami Sabbada Natti me Saranam Ganyam Buddho me Saranam Varam Yetena Satya Vajjena Hotu no Jaya Mangalam Uttamangena Vandeham Pada Panso Varuttamam Buddheyo Kalito Doso Buddho Kamatutang Mama Buddhang Yavanibbāna Pariyantang Saranam Gacchami. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Apanaiko Pachatan Vedita Bovino Heti Namo Tassaniani Kasadhammasa Echa Dhamma Atita Cha Echa Dhamma Anagata Pachupanna Cha E Dhamma Ahang Vandami Sabbada Natti me Saranang Anyang Dhammo me Saranang Varang Yetena Satcha Vajjena Hotu no Jaya Mangalam Uttamangena Vandeham Dhammam Chati Viduttamam Dhammeyo Kalito Doso Dhammo Kamatutang Mama Dhammang Yavanibbāna Pariyantang Saranang Gacchami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Jupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Sami Chipatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Idam Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sango Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakkineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyaketang Lokasati Namo tassa atta arya puggala mahasangasa. Echa sangha atita cha echa sangha anagata pachupanna cha e sangha ahang vandami sabbada. Natti me saranang anyang sango me saranang varang yetena satcha vajjena hotu no jaya mangalam. Uttamangena vande hang sanganchati viduttamam. Sangyeyo kalito doso sango kamatutang mama. Sangang yava nibbana pariyantang saranang gacchami. Sabbityo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayo bhava vina punyakam mena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya idang me punyakamang asavakayang vaham hotu sabba dukkha pamuchyatu nibbana sampacchayo hotu. Sukhiyantu mangal ho. So we'll continue our discussion on this Mahāparinibbāna Sutta. See, Buddha, if you see Buddha's different life events, life story, see, he he motivates, he inspires people with knowledge, with teaching, of course, and he emphasizes on the practice of morality, punya kriyas and meditation. That's also you can see. Knowledge is one thing, and then motivating them, inspiring them about the practice, why they should practice these punya kriyas like generosity, like morality, and then of course meditation. And also sometimes for some dumb people, he has to show some supernormal powers also. Because people, they will be shocked, or they will be thrilled, or they will be like fascinated. They develop a kind of fear. It's not exactly the threatening fears. It is a kind of fear which will make them to develop faith, more faith. And then once they establish in the faith, then they start practicing, and then they fall into this right path. So in that way, in these three approaches, you can see in even in this last journey also. Sojourn, like his last journey, like he has taken a very big journey from very long journey from Rajgir to Kushinara, teaching so many people because that is the uh, last task, last project, last like say mission. Of course, his life itself is a mission, and this is the last part of his mission. So he traveled from Rajgir to Kushinara, meeting so many people, all kinds of people, and encouraging them to uh, fall into this path of Nibbana, or path of this Dhamma, trod into this path, accept this path and start trodding. So that's what Buddha, uh, even in this last journey also, last sojourn also, is doing that. So now in the first, second, third, and fourth parts, you have seen how he taught so many people, including some great disciples like Sariputta, and of course, all the time he was teaching Ananda also, and at the same time he was showing some supernormal powers. At the same time, was accepting the contributions, the offerings of the people, and again, thereby he was helping them to, like say, get merits, punya, and also was teaching the core aspects of Dhamma, Shil, Samadhi, Panya, right concentration, right morality, right liberation, right wisdom, and right liberation, and the Four Noble Truths. Was emphasizing these things. And different factors of enlightenment, whether they are the four factors, like these four kinds of mindfulness, or the four iddipadas, or four efforts, or the five kinds, like the five indriyas, or five balas, panchendriya, panchabala, or the seven factors of enlightenment, sattva sambojjhanga, or the Noble Eightfold Path, starting from right view to right concentration. You see, he is highlighting the importance of right view. Then authority, which is because that is very unique. Again, in this discourse, we will come to see the importance of right view that he is highlighting in this part 5 also. So in that way, tirelessly, even at this ripened age, now he is supposed to take Mahāparinibbāna, the great demise, within a few weeks. During that time also, and also he went, like say, he fell sick. He took some, that Sukara Madhava from this Shunda, a smith. And he knew very well that only Buddhas can digest that. And other people, they would have died if other monks or lay people, or even the Devas, Buddha says, even the Devas or even anybody, they could not consume this, or they could not digest this. That he has decided to take it because he knew that the time has come for him. And of course, because of that, he fell sick. He developed some stomach problem, and he fell sick. But still, he was walking, he was teaching, he was traveling long distances, and he was teaching. And after that, now in this last fifth section, now Buddha decided, yes, now he decided to leave this Vajjian province also. First, he left this Magadhan province, and then he left this, now decided to leave this Vajjian province, and now he wanted to enter into this Mallas, the province of the Mallas. Mallas means like they are again group of rulers. In the present day Kushinagar, that time it was called Kushinara. Of course, when compared to these huge empires and great kings, they were relatively a small kingdom, this Mallas kingdom, and they're relatively, I think, not very prosperous, not very huge. So Buddha decided to go there, and he decided to take this Mahāparinibbāna in that Mallas region. Mallas, one of the places that Kushinara, that time it was called Kushinara. That too in some jungle, not in the city or not in the town. That too, it was a small province and relatively a less known place compared to this Magadha or this Vajjian Empire, the capital of which is Vaishali, which was a great city, and not even this Sravasti or his own native place, this Kapilavastu, or not even Kashi, Varanasi. They're all very huge places, huge, great capital cities. And he was having millions of great devotees, not just ordinary people, the kings, the billionaires, the great wise people. They were all Buddha's disciples. And instead of going to those places and take Mahāparinibbāna, Buddha decided to go to this Mallas province, that too in a jungle. He decided to take Mahāparinibbāna. So he asked Ananda, now we will go to this Mallas sal grove, salt trees. It was a grove, it was a jungle of these salt trees. So, salt trees, I think in India, South India, especially, they call it as maybe parts of Central India. So only in North India, they call it as sal, and even in Nepal. And in Central India and South India, I think they call it as mahogany, whatever it may be. They are very huge trees. And even Buddha's birth also happened under a salt tree. And now Buddha's Mahāparinibbāna also decided to take Mahāparinibbāna under this salt trees. So Ananda, we will go there, and they crossed the river again. They had crossed one river that is called Hiranyavati river. And they crossed that Hiranyavati river, and they went to this sal grove in this this Mallas, which was owned by this Mallas province. And then there he told Ananda, now you prepare me some bed under these two salt trees. He selected two salt trees. So under these two salt trees, you prepare me a bed and head towards the north, he decided. And there's one posture called lion's posture. Buddhas always used to take, so on the right hand, they used to rest their body, and keeping left foot on the right foot, they used to take rest, and in the same posture, it's called lion's posture. So he decided to take his Mahāparinibbāna. So accordingly, Ananda arranged all those things. Then, as I was telling you, some special things, some special supernatural or supernormal things will happen at the time of supreme enlightenment, and also at this time of this final great demise of Buddha, that is Mahāparinibbāna. So that earthquake that sometime back, even the 3 months before Mahāparinibbāna, there used to be, when Buddha gives up his life principle, he decides to give up his life principle, and the life principle starts like dissipating. That time also the great earthquake will happen. That happened. And then at the time of this enlightenment also, the earthquake, the great earthquake, which will shake the whole world system. So that also happened. And now at this last moment of Mahāparinibbāna, like it's not just a special, very very saddening thing for the disciples, and of course the entire North India was under the influence of Buddha, and it was like saddening thing, like it was and not only for the humans, it was a saddening thing for the divine beings also. And to honor Buddha, even the divine forces also, they start showing their concern for Buddha, their respect for Buddha. How? Like, say, what happened during that time? The salt trees burst forth into an abundance of untimely blossoms, which fell upon the Tathagata's body, sprinkling it and covering it in homage out of respect. Even the trees also, and of course, it's all again the power of divine beings. The salt trees, they started blooming and started the blossoms. The blossoms started, and the flowers fell upon the Tathagata's body, Buddha's body. Divine coral tree flowers fell from the sky, coral tree, again, it's a very, like say, religious tree, which will, but coral flowers also, they are very religious. And again, the divine coral flower, they started falling from the heavens, from the divine realms. Divine sandalwood powder fell from the sky, sprinkling and covering the Tathagata's body in homage. Divine music and song also sounded from the sky in homage to the Tathagata. As I was telling you, even the divine beings, especially these Chatumaharajika Devas and these Tavatimsa Devas, they were very much, like say, devote to Buddha. All beings, but these this low-level devas, they have influence on these earthbound trees and the music, or even the this other this sandalwood powder, or all these things, because they are more close to this the physical sensual attributes, sense attributes of the human beings, these earthbound devas and these Chatumaharajika devas, and even to some extent the Tavatimsa devas. And beyond that, the devas, they're more like say beyond these earthly attachments. But of course, they were also curious, they were also very respectful. But these low-level devas, they started showing their respect in the form of this kind of divine fragrance, divine music, divine flowers. All these things, they started showing the respect in these different ways. When Buddha decided that he just started lying down under these salt trees for his final journey, the great demise. Then Buddha explained, so all these things, why they are happening to this Ananda, because Ananda and maybe some more monks, they may be shocked, or they may be like, they are perplexed. So just to give them clarity, Buddha started explaining them. All these things have burst forth into an abundance of untimely blossoms, divine music and song found from the sky in the homage to the Tathagata. Never before has the Tathagata been so honored, revered, esteemed, worshipped, and adored. And yet, Ananda, whatever monk, nun, male or female lay follower dwells practicing the Dhamma properly and perfectly fulfills the Dhamma way, he or she honors the Tathagata, reveres and esteems him, and pays him the supreme homage. Therefore, Ananda, we will dwell practicing the Dhamma properly and perfectly, fulfill the Dhamma way. This must be your watchword. You see, again, Buddha's, though this kind of divine things are happening, people, they may take these things blindly, and the blind faith they may develop. That Buddha wants to curb, he wants to break that. Though these things inspire many people about the supreme enlightenment of Buddha, the supreme personality of Buddha, it should not end there. Again, Buddha is saying all these things are happening, it is very, very rare, and it is very, very appreciable. But the best way to honor me, this is the way that is honored by the divine beings. But far better than this, the best way to honor me is to practice my teachings, practice the Dhamma, and achieve the benefits, achieve the results of this practice of Dhamma. That's the best way to honor me. It's a powerful way of like motivating, inspiring, not only the monks, the lay people, everyone, even those who are now listening like this after so many centuries. So this is the core teaching. This is the uniqueness of Buddha. He doesn't want people to blindly simply accept Buddha's personality, Buddha's magnanimity, by showing the supernormal powers, by showing even the honor of these divine beings. That, of course, to some extent, especially for the dumb people, it gives some kind of it will rejuvenate their senses. It will just open up their senses, their minds to this. But it should not stop there. Then there is a possibility of like developing some blind faith. So again, what Buddha is saying, this is not the best way. The best way is to follow my teachings, practice them, and then derive the benefits. That is the best way to honor me. That way, always you keep this as a watchword So all these teachings that Buddha is giving to Ananda, it is not just for Ananda or not just for the people in that place during that time. It is for the generations, those who are listening, even after generations, even after so many centuries. This is the teaching for everyone, all of us, including us, and also in the future, those who read, those who go through this, those who, like say, learn this. It is a teaching for everyone. So in that way, you just keep it as your watchword. What is this? We will dwell practicing the Dhamma properly and perfectly, fulfill this Dhamma way. We will establish in this path, in this right view, in this Dhamma, and then starting from right view to right concentration, and we start getting the benefits of this. That should be your watchword. Buddhas come and Buddhas go. But the Dhamma it should be perennial, it should be permanent. The right view based on this knowledge and practice, that should be perennial, that should be, like say, that should be given utmost importance. That is what is the core teaching of all Buddhas, including our Buddha, Gautama Buddha. So that should be our watchword. In that way, Buddha is actually, he is giving one kind of clarion call, a kind of warning and clarion call. Don't get off track. Don't get, like say, in this emotional excitement or in this emotion of so-called honoring or in this concern and respect. You should not be carried away from your responsibility. Away from your responsibility. You should not go away from your responsibility. So thus, this you keep it in your mind. This is the watchword. In that way, Buddha is encouraging. Most of the times, Buddha directly talks to Ananda, but it has the relevance for everyone, including the people around Ananda, and also the monks and the lay people, and also the future generation, and forever, even for us and for the future also. So this is what is the power of this word of Buddha, which will not only teach one person, it will teach millions, including the divine beings also. Then what happened that time? There was one very close associate of Buddha, just like Ananda. There was one more disciple, one more, like say, very known, well-known disciple. His name was Venerable Upavana. This Venerable Upavana, he was standing in front of Lord and he was fanning Lord Buddha. He was standing in front of Buddha, he was fanning Buddha. What happened? And the Lord told him, Tathagata Buddha told him, so move aside, do not stand in front of me. In that way, he told this Upavana. And then Venerable Ananda, he thought, what's going on? Buddha never spoke like this, and he was very close to Buddha. And he used to serve Buddha in several occasions. Now at this juncture, why Buddha is asking him to move aside and also not stand in front of me. That, of course, Buddha came to know. Not only Ananda, of course, that same doubt would have arose in so many others' minds also. Then Buddha told, see, Ananda, the Devas from 10 world spheres have gathered to see the Tathagata. For a distance of 12 yojanas around the Mallas Salguru near Kushinara, there is not a space you could touch with the point of a hair that is not filled with mighty Devas. And they are grumbling, we have come a long way to see the Tathagata. It's rare for a Tathagata, a fully enlightened Buddha, to arise in this world. And tonight, in the last watch, the Tathagata will attain final Nibbana. And this mighty monk is standing in front of the Lord, preventing us from getting a last glimpse of the Tathagata. So that is the botheration. So many millions of beings, these divine beings, they gathered to see Buddha's Mahāparinibbāna and to have this last glimpse of the living Buddha. So rare for these Buddhas to arise in this universe. And now, luckily, he is there, and now it is our chance, it is our great opportunity for us to go and visit him before his Mahāparinibbāna. And this monk, Upavana, he was standing, covering Buddha. They were grumbling, oh, what happened? We wanted to see, and this monk is standing in between. So that Buddha came to know, and that's why Buddha had to tell this Upavana to move aside. Then Ananda inquired, what kind of devas are all there? Then Buddha told the earthborn devas, different kinds of devas. Hmm. And many of the devas, of course, they were also like having the human emotions, especially for a supremely enlightened one like Buddha. And they were sobbing, some of them. Hmm. And some of them are crying or sobbing. Lord is passing away. All too soon, the welfarer is passing away. So in that way, these earthbound devas and these low-level devas, they were all crying, and they were in great grief and misery, not to lose Buddha. Then Buddha, but those devas, they were devas who are sotapannas. They were free from all these attachments, these emotions, these feelings, and they knew very well all compounded things are impermanent, anicca, vata, sankara. So what is the use of simply crying and weeping? In that way, they were remaining silent, and they were more equanimous. But some devas, they were crying and weeping. Then Buddha, this Ananda, he was so responsible even during that time also. Then he started asking Buddha. See, after Bhagavan Buddha's Mahāparinibbāna, then there is no specific place where Buddha is there, and then the monks and the disciples of Buddha, the great monks, the great disciples, they used to visit Buddha, and in that way they used to bring a lot of purity, lot of let's say power to that place. The very visit of great monks and all. But now Buddha is no more. Buddha will be no more in a couple of hours, or maximum. Now, how can we see those great monks, and how can the people will make use of the presence of great monks also? When Buddha is not there, the great monks will not assemble. They will not gather together. Then how the people will be benefited with some specific places? In that way, this Ananda inquired Buddha, after you, how can we expect some places to get some power, so that the very place will help the devotees, the faithful disciples? Then Buddha gives the explanation. Ananda, there are 4 places, the sight of which should arouse emotion in the faithful people. Which are they? Here the Tathagata was born is the first place. Here the Tathagata attained supreme enlightenment is the second place. Here the Tathagata set in motion the wheel of Dhamma, that is the third place. Here the Tathagata attained the Nibbana element without reminder is the 4th place. And Ananda, the faithful lay people, monks, nuns, female lay followers or male lay followers, and any who die while making the pilgrimage to these shrines with a devout heart will, at the breaking up of the body after death, be reborn in a heavenly world. So these 4 places will be very, very special places. And with faithful people only, these 4 places, the pilgrimage places, they will become holy places, pilgrimage places. Because it's the faith that will to take up this pilgrimage. So, so in that way, these 4 places should be revered in future. So it's again Buddha's authoritative declaration. That's why we are also planning. And some of you are asking, and so in that way, if you can go by yourself also, just definitely you can go, because, and also Buddha is authoritatively declaring, while visiting these holy places, if somebody gives up the body, dies, then definitely he will take rebirth in the heavenly realms, because that very faithful mind, and with that during this pilgrimage, it will liberate a lot of defilements of the mind, and with such a liberated mind, so that person will definitely take a superior rebirth, like the rebirth in the divine realms. So in that way, Buddha authoritatively declares the power of these 4 places. What are these 4 places? The place of Buddha's birth, that is Lumbini, that is in present Nepal. Of course, it is very close to India, the border. And then the place of enlightenment, that is Bodh Gaya, and the place of the first teaching, where Buddha's that turning the wheel of Dhamma happened, where he gave the first discourse, that is Sarnath, near Benares. And the 4th one is this place where Buddha has entered into the Nibbana element. So this where Buddha has taken this Mahāparinibbāna. So this is the other place. So in these 4 places, these are the 4 holy places for these faithful people, pilgrimage, and these places should be revered in future. These places should be are the places of faithful people, places of powerful the disciples of Buddha. Even the Aryas also they visit. So in that way, those places will get a lot of power, lot of the faith one will establish. And with that faithful mind, even if he dies during this pilgrimage, then there is no harm. He will reach the heavens. He will take rebirth in the heavens. That's what is the assurance given by Buddha. When Ananda inquired about which place the congregation of these faithful people happens, for that Buddha, he gives these 4 places. Then again, Ananda inquired about, say, Ananda was still Sotapanna. And Sotapannas and Sagadagamis, still they have this some defilements, this attachment and hatred, and even a little bit of delusion. Delusion, of course, it will be there. Even with Anagami also to some extent. And only Arahant, the completely delusion and this conceit, mana, everything will go away. But for this Sotapanna and Sagadagami, even this greed and hatred, that will be there. Then he inquired, how should I deal with the women? Then Buddha, of course, for Arahants and these Anagamis, it should not be a problem. They can handle the women. That means the lustful thoughts. But for even the Sotapannas and Sagadagamis, Buddha is saying, better as much as possible to avoid this lustful association. And if you can't avoid, better not to speak. And if you can't avoid speaking, you better not to be with them alone. So in that way, he gave some kind of restriction, some kind of protection, both for women and also for the people who are very much committed for this enlightenment, Nibbana. Though they have become Sotapannas and Sagadagamis also. So there is no need to be in association where this kind of attachments and carnal thoughts, some attachment thoughts arise in the mind. In that way, Buddha instructed Ananda. That also helped many people in that gathering. And in the future also, so many beings, so many people, just making themselves alone, independent, alone, making themselves island, are not associating with the surroundings where this kind of thoughts will arise. So that helped again many people. Then again, see his responsibility. Ananda is such a very responsible, very committed. He was responsible for Buddha also and also protecting this Dhamma. And again, he is asking Buddha, see now, what shall we do with Tathagata's remains? That means the ashes after Tathagata gives up his life principle and enters into Nibbana element, Mahāparinibbāna. Then the body will remain. What should we do with this body? In that way, he inquires Buddha. And Buddha, he just don't worry about these funeral arrangements, Ananda. That is not your duty. You are a renunciate. That is not your duty. The kings and the lay people, they will take care of my the proceedings and this and the dead body also. So in that way, Buddha tells this Ananda, but still Ananda, he in turn has to educate this, even the kings and all, what it has to do with the body. So for that sake, again, Buddha gives some more explanation. And you should not, though Buddha says you should not bother about all these worldly things. You focus on your goal, strive for the highest goal. You are still Sotapanna. Devote yourself to the highest goal. And dwell with your minds tirelessly, zealously devoted to the highest goal. There are wise Katyas, Brahmins, and householders who are devoted to the Tathagata. They will take care of the funeral. They will take care of all these funeral arrangements and proceedings. These lay people, whether they are kings or the wise Brahmins or the wise householders. There are so many of my disciples. That is none of your business. That is their business. In that way, Buddha tells them. But Lord, what are we to do with the Tathagata's remains? All right, funeral they will take care. But what should we do with the ashes or the relics? Ananda, they should be dealt with like the remains of a wheel-turning monarch. So the remains of Tathagata, it's not like an ordinary thing. The wheel-turning monarch means like Chakravarti Maharaja. Very rarely they also arise in this world. They can rule the entire earth because of their moral strength, because of their, of course, because of their parmis and because of their punya and parmis. They rule the entire world. They will be so perfect in their morality, perfect in their wisdom, perfect in their, not this spiritual liberating wisdom of handling different kinds of people. Punya kriyas, they are perfect. And most of these wheel-turning monarchs, they were bodhisattvas. Even our Buddha also, he was a wheel-turning monarch several times. So in that way, people, of course, they used to have tremendous honor and respect for these wheel-turning monarchs. And they used to treat the wheel-turning monarch with great honor and respect. And even after his death also. Something like that, this Buddha's body also, the Buddha's remains also should be treated. In that way, Buddha is instructing this Ananda. And how is that? How we should treat the wheel-turning this Buddha's remains? You are saying that it should be treated just like the remains of a wheel-turning monarch, Chakravarti Maharaja. How is that? How we should treat? Then Buddha explains. After Mahāparinibbāna, the body should be like, say, with proper clothing, proper like sandalwood, oil and ghee and some linen cloth. So many times one has to wrap the body, and then with the sandalwood sticks, one has to burn it, and one has to use ghee and so many other arrangements. Like it's a different, the way of showing respect to the respectables. It's not like simply Buddha is not pomping himself. It's not like a pomp and show. It is like respecting the respectables is also a punya, apachayana. If they respect the respectables. Simply for some materialistic people also, people show a lot of respect. Then that is not really helpful for them. If they respect the respectable ones like the Buddhas, then it's of great benefit for them. So because of that reason, Buddha is emphasizing to respect this body with with great honor. And in that way, Buddha explained how to treat this dead body and also the remains of the after funeral, how to handle the remains. Then having made a funeral pyre of all manners of perfumes, they cremate the king's body and they raise a stupa at the crossroads. That Ananda is what they do with the remains of a wheel-turning monarch. And they should deal with the Tathagata's body in the same way. After that, they build a big shrine, big stupa, where the qualities of those great wheel-turning monarchs, like his morality, his punya kriyas, they are worshipped. The same way, the Tathagatas, the Buddha's body also should be treated and built stupas and shrines. A stupa should be erected at the crossroads for the Tathagata, and whoever lays wreaths or puts sweet perfumes and colors, there with a devout heart, will reap benefit and happiness for a long time. When people they will come to visit this kind of stupas, and with the devotion, whatever they offer, it will give them tremendous punya. That punya is nothing but satisfaction, the purity-based satisfaction. So that is a great protection for them for a long time. And again, Buddha says, these stupas, for whom the stupas are built, it is built for this wheel-turning monarch, it is built for even the arahants, the Pacheka Buddhas, and the Supreme Enlightened Buddha like me. The stupa should be built. So, you know, the Tathagata means Supreme Buddha, and the Pacheka Buddha means private Buddha. They discover the Supreme Enlightenment, but they can't teach. And also the disciples of Buddha, after learning from Buddha, and they became arahants. And of course, this wheel-turning monarch. These four kinds of people, one should build these stupas. And when anybody worships these four kinds of stupas, their mind becomes peaceful, their hearts and minds will become peaceful. And if they have true dedication, true faith, then after their death, they will reach the heavenly world. That is the reason. And those are the four who are worthy of a stupa. That's why stupa should be built to these four kinds of individuals. And the lay people, ordinary people, they should worship these stupas. Don't think that worshipping devotion is blind. The devotion in the right way of emancipation, right way of developing the mind, purifying the mind, liberating the mind. Towards that, if you have devotion, that is of great benefit. So, these four kinds of people, if you build stupa, then it's like very worthy to worship such kind of four kinds of stupas, because all these four kinds of stupas, they're bound, they are enlightened, they are liberated, and this wheel-turning monarch, like many of them were, of course, I think, not I think, they are the bodhisattvas, they will definitely become the Buddhas. And they will also, it will also give them the clarity that they are progressing in this path, and that will keep the devotees also in that path. That faith will keep them in the path. That is the beauty of devotion. That is the beauty of faith. If you have right faith in right view and right liberation, then you will be in the path. And that's why having this kind of devotion to these four kinds of stupas also is one of the powerful ways to keep oneself in this path. And then Venerable Ananda went into his lodging and stood lamenting, leaning on the doorpost. Alas, I am still a learner with much to do, and the teacher is passing away, who was so compassionate to me. And after all, as you know, Ananda was still a Sotapanna. And he was also like some earthbound devas. He also just left that place and he went a little away from that. And then he started weeping, crying, by thinking in so many ways. Buddha is leaving me, and also I'm still a learner, I will not get a teacher in the future. All these things. After all, he was still a Sotapanna. All these things, they started, like say, disturbing him, troubling him, and that's why he started weeping. Then the Lord inquired the monks where Ananda was, and they told him. He said to a certain monk, go and say to Ananda that the teacher has summoned you. You have to come in that way. Tell that in my name. So then somebody went there and he told Ananda, and he came back to Buddha. And now Buddha, he knew very well. You see the Buddha's smartness. He never used to praise anyone, Buddha. Because there was when the lay people and the disciples, when they praise Buddha, then they will be in the path. Like praising, as I used to tell several times. Respecting the respectables, praising the praisable ones is the way to keep oneself in that path. And that's why Buddha used to accept somebody praises Buddha, because that very praising, that very appreciation, that mudita, it will keep them in the track. And there was no need for Buddha as a teacher to praise the disciples, unless they have done some very good task. so that it will inspire other people. But here, Buddha understood this Ananda's mind. And now, Buddha started praising Ananda now, because he wanted to calm down Ananda. Because he wanted to, like, say, show that Ananda is not an ordinary person, and definitely he will get liberation. And he was feeling that inferiority, that Ananda. No, I did not get anything. I am still a learner. I am still a Sotapanna. But inferiority he was feeling. That is the beauty of a skillful teacher, you know. After all, Buddha is a supremely enlightened one. And we know there is nothing to prize actually the skillfulness of Buddha. Now, even at this last minute, Buddha is making use of that situation to help Ananda, thereby to help all other Sotapannas, all other disciples who have not yet reached this supreme liberation by becoming Arahants. So in that way, now this is a situation Buddha is using to help such kind of disciples who have not reached the ultimate liberation, who have not become Arahants. Enough, Ananda, do not weep and wail. Have I not already told you that all beings that are pleasant and delightful are changeable, subject to separation and becoming other? So everything is changing, everything is anicca, even this body, this life. So why are you weeping about my demise? Since for a long time, Ananda, you have been in the Tathagata's presence, showing loving kindness in act of body, speech, and mind, beneficially, blessedly, wholeheartedly, and unstintingly. You have achieved much merit, Ananda. Make the effort, and in a short time, you will be free of the corruption. You see, Buddha is giving assurance. You have done wonderful service to Buddha. You have done, and to his mission you have done, and to his Sangha you have done. You have taken care of Buddha so very well. And that's all great punya. That punya will come to your rescue. And within no time, you too will become Arahant. Don't worry. You are such a great man. You have accumulated, you have accrued lot of merits by doing tremendous service to Buddha and his Dhamma, his teachings. In a way, Buddha assured this Ananda so that his grief, his lamentation should stop, and also to give him more confidence, thereby to give confidence to other Sotapannas and other, let's say, disciples who are not yet Arahants. Then the Lord addressed the monks. Then again, Buddha started appreciating about the qualities of Ananda, and also so many other, directly or indirectly, they helped Buddha. So in a way, it's like Buddha is showing a kind of appreciation to all those people for their services. Monks, all those who are Arahant, fully enlightened Buddhas in the past have had just such a chief attendant as Ananda, and so too will those blessed lords who come in the future. Monks, Ananda is wise. Only the great supreme enlightened Buddhas only will get such a great disciple, great attendant to serve Buddhas. Not only me, the previous Buddhas also, they were having great attendants like this Ananda. And the future Buddhas also, they will get great attendants like Ananda. Ananda is not an ordinary disciple. He is very wise. He knows when it is the right time for monks to come to see the Tathagata, when it is the right time for nuns, for male lay followers, for female lay followers, for kings, for royal ministers, for leaders of other schools, and for their pupils. He tried to strike wonderful balance with Buddha's comfort and others' requirements, whether they are kings or royal ministers or ordinary people, householders, millionaires, wise people, other ascetics, or the monks or nuns. Very wisely he used to handle it based on their requirements, their temperaments, and also the comfort of Buddha. He used to judge everything, and accordingly he used to arrange the meetings. He is very wise, Ananda. Ananda has 4 remarkable and wonderful qualities. Ananda, again, he is not only skillful in making these meetings and arranging these meetings. So he has some 4 wonderful qualities. If a company of monks come to see Ananda, they are pleased at the sight of him. And when Ananda talks Dhamma to them, they are pleased. And when he is silent, they are disappointed. And so it is too with nuns, with male and female lay followers. And these four qualities apply to a wheel-turning monarch. If he is visited by a company of Kshatriyas, Brahmins, or householders, or ascetics, they are pleased at the sight of him. And when he talks to them, when he's they will be pleased, and when he is silent, they are disappointed. And so too it is with Ananda. Ananda is not just an ordinary disciple. He is like a wheel-turning monarch. Even with the very sight of wheel-turning monarch, the people will be pleased. Whether whoever it may be, whether they are Kshatriyas, rulers, or the Brahmins, or the householders, or the ascetics, or the monks or nuns. The same thing with this Ananda also. Monks and nuns and all these different people, they will be pleased to see Ananda. They will be pleased to hear from Ananda. And they feel saddened, they feel bad if he won't speak to them. Such is the beauty of this Ananda's personality. He has that magnanimous personality to please everyone in his presence. After this, the Venerable Ananda said, Lord, may the blessed Lord not pass away in this miserable little town of wattle and daub, right in the jungle of the back of beyond. That was a very, as I was telling you, it was a very miserable place, no people, it was a jungle, and even that very province is also not a very prosperous or well-known, or it was not flourished with even the human resources like the great kings or great disciples of Buddha. And of course, they were very devout disciples of Buddha, but they were not like, when compared to other kingdoms, other provinces, like Benares, like Shravasti, like Vaishali, like Magadha, Rajgir. There were so many other provinces where it was very flourished regions in all aspects. But this is a miserable place. So why you are taking Mahāparinibbāna? Again, you see his concern, Ananda's concern. So he told Buddha, so why you have to take Mahāparinibbāna here? So many other places where, like in this jungle, there are great cities such as Champa, Rajagiha, Savatthi, Saketa, Kosambi, or Varanasi. In those places, there are wealthy Kshatriyas, Brahmins, householders who are devoted to Tathagata. And they will provide for the Tathagata's funeral in proper style, in great proper style, as Buddha was telling, Tathagata was telling me how the funeral should be conducted. They can provide all the facilities for that such kind of great funeral. Why here in that way, Buddha? This Ananda asked Buddha. Ananda, don't call it a miserable little town of wattle and daub, right in the jungle of the back of beyond. Don't call it as such a miserable place or useless place. So again, Buddha started prizing the greatness, the speciality of that place, that Kushinara. Once upon a time, Ananda, King Mahāsudassana, he was a wheel-turning monarch. That was Buddha himself, actually, a rightful and righteous king, and he was Bodhisattva at that time. His name was King Mahāsudassana, who had conquered the land in 4 directions and ensured the security of his realm, and who possessed the 7 treasures. Ananda, this King Mahāsudassana, had this very Kushinara under the name of Kushavati for his capital. So it was the capital of that great King Mahāsudassana. Now it may be like a miserable place for you, but it has all that history, like, of course, history in the sense that kind of significance. It was the capital of that great king, Mahāsudassana. He was a wheel-turning monarch, he was a bodhisattva. This king Mahāsudassana had this very Kushinara under the name of Kushavati for his capital, and it was 12 yojanas long from east to west and 7 yojanas wide from north to south, almost 100 kilometers, north to south, 100 kilometers, east to west. Such a huge capital it was. It was rich, prosperous, and well populated, crowded with people, and well stocked with food, just as the Deva city of Alakananda, like even just like divine cities. It was so popular, prosperous, populous. So In that way, Buddha was prizing. So was the royal city of Kushavati. It was like the divine capital. The city of Kushavati was never free from 10,000 by day or night. The sound of elephants, horses, 10 kinds of sounds means like it was fully like that royalty. It was very much there, just like the divine capitals. Kettle drums, side drums, and there was a lot of materialistic comfort people used to enjoy in that city. And that's why don't condemn this place. It has a lot of that it possesses a lot of that lineage, that significance of greatness, of prosperity, of great population. Now you just what you do, now you go to these Mallas of Kushinara and announce that Lord Tathagata is taking Mahāparinibbāna, and otherwise they will complain. So in our place, Lord Buddha has taken Mahāparinibbāna, but nobody told us. In that way, they will complain, they will comment. So that you should avoid. Now better you go and tell them, and they can take the last. They can have that opportunity to see Tathagata for the last time. So in that way, this Lord Buddha told Ananda. Ananda accordingly, he just thought of informing these Mallas. So taking robe and bowl, he went with a companion to Kushinara. Just then the Mallas of Kushinara were assembled in their meeting hall on some business, and Ananda came to them and delivered the Lord's words. And when they heard, after all, they were all lay people, and they felt very much upset, and they started weeping, crying, and their wives and their children. There's so many groups, families and families, groups and groups. They started moving to this Sal group. It was a bit away from this Kushinara, the capital city of these Mallas. And then they all went to the Sal group where the Venerable Ananda was. And Ananda thought, if I start allowing these Mallas of Kushinara to salute the Lord individually, then it will take a lot of time. Then what I should do? I'll just call them based on their families or the family clans. So many, some 20, 30, 50, 100 people, they can come together, they can see Buddha and they can go. Then the next group can come. In that way, again, skillfully started off making all the arrangements for these Mallas of Kushinara to pay homage to Buddha in the first watch of that night. The entire first watch of the night, these Mallas, they started paying homage to Buddha. Then what happened? There is one more important and interesting incident happened after this Mallas paid homage to Buddha. There was one wandering ascetic. Wandering ascetic means like he was there are so many ascetic groups during that time, and of course even now also in India. He was looking for some right path to achieve this enlightenment, Nibbana, or liberation, and he knew very well that Buddha have arisen in this world, and now I have heard from venerable wanderers, advanced in years, teachers of teachers, that a Tathagata, a fully enlightened Buddha, only rarely arises in this world. And tonight, in the last watch, the ascetic Gautama will attain final Nibbana. Now a doubt has arisen in my mind, and I feel sure that the ascetic Gautama can teach me a doctrine to dispel that doubt. Now it is the time for me to learn from Buddha, because I came to know that this great enlightened Samma Sambuddha, now he is going to take Mahāparinibbāna. Now I want to learn from him, because after him, there may not be the right teacher for me to clarify my doubts. In that way, he came and he requested Ananda to meet Buddha and to make his queries, to ask his doubts. Then Ananda, he felt bad. So what is this time he has come at the last minute, he has come and he is simply, he will trouble Buddha. In that way, Ananda thought. Again, you see Buddha's compassion and his commitment to teach even at the last minute. Several times he requested this Subhadra. So I will just go and meet Buddha. But Ananda rejected 3 times. That Buddha overheard the conversation that was going on between this Subhadra and Ananda. Then Buddha told him, allow him, let him come and let him ask his doubts. Do not hinder Subhadra, let him see the Tathagata. For whatever Subhadra asks me, he will ask in quest of enlightenment and not to annoy me. So he see anything, any discussion that happens for the sake of enlightenment, that honesty is there. Even at the time of this great demise, the Buddhas will enjoy. They appreciate and they enjoy. You see, in that way, it is not like annoyance for me. It is not a trouble for me. You allow him. In that way, Buddha told this Ananda. That is the power of this Dhamma. That is the power of this knowledge, the power of the wisdom. Even at the last minute also, it gives a lot of soothing. So in that way, when this matter of Dhamma comes, discussion comes, the knowledge of liberation comes, it is always liberating. It soothes you, it calms down, it will give you the fresh energy, it rejuvenates you. So in that way, Buddha asked this Ananda to not to hinder Subhadra. What I say in reply to his questions, he will quickly understand. He is quite intelligent also, don't worry, he can quickly understand and he will be benefited. So then Ananda allowed him, go in friend Subhadra, the Lord gives you to go the permission to meet him. In that way, Ananda allowed this Subhadra to go and meet Buddha. And then his question was, Venerable Sir, all those ascetics and Brahmins who have orders and followings, who are teachers, well-known and famous as founders of schools and popularly regarded as saints, like Purana Kassapa, Makkali Gosala, Ajita Kesa Kambali, Pakuda Kachayana, Sanjaya Belatta Putta, and the Nigantanatha Putta, have they all realized the truth as they all make out, or have none of them realized it, or have some realized it and some not? See, this is also one very intricate question, like many people used to have in their mind. Even now also, many people with great following, with a lot of hundreds, thousands, lakhs, millions maybe, they may be having the followers. And because of that populace, because of that number, people get, like say, carried away, thinking that, oh, so many people are following him. He must be a great man. He must be a great sage. He must be an enlightened one. In that way, people generally, they think. The same doubt came in his mind, this Subhadda's mind. There are all those times, some six teachers, they were very, very famous. Of course, now also, you might have heard of so many great teachers with great following, large following. Something like that, Sanjaya Belatta Putta, this Makkali Gosala, Nigantanatha Putta, Ajita Kesa Kambali, Pakuda Kachayana, Purana Kassapa, they were all very famous. And he asked whether they are liberated or they're hyping themselves. So in that way, he asked Buddha. And Buddha, enough, you see, Buddha's indifference here. That is what actually a wise person should be bothered. He should not be bothered about condemning others or simply blindly following others. Simply, he should be indifferent. That is their karma, whether they are enlightened or not. That is none of my business, or I should not. There is no need for me to get carried away in some belief that many people are having. So enough of it. Don't try and ask this kind of questions, Subhadra. Never mind whether they are all or none or some of them have realized the truth or not. I will give you a thumb rule to decide whether the person or the teachings or the group, whether it has that capacity to liberate the mind. I will just give you a thumb rule. And based on that, one can decide oneself. There is no need to simply, for me to declare who is liberated, who is not liberated. That is not necessary. In that way, Buddha told this Subhadra, I will teach you that Dhamma, that yardstick or the thumb rule, where the enlightened ones are there, where they are not there, where simply people are hyping themselves, where people are honest. That I will tell you. In that way, Buddha answered to this query of Subhadra. In whatever Dhamma and discipline, the noble eightfold path is not found. No ascetic is found of the first, the second, the third, or the fourth grade. If there is no Noble Eightfold Path, it starts from right view. If there is no right view, then you don't see in such a group, in such school, in such sect, in such teachings, in such kind of associations or teachings, anyone who is first kind of ascetic means the Sotapanna, the second kind of ascetic means the Sagadagami, third kind of ascetic means the Anagami, and the fourth kind of ascetic means Arahant. You can't see, you don't see the Sotapanna, Sagadagami, Anagami, Arahant. That means we have seen the Nibbana at different levels, these four categories. That means you can't see the Nibbana achieved people, or the Nibbana seen ascetics in any other school or sect where this Noble Eightfold Path, which starts from right view, is not there. So without right view, no asceticism, no progress in mind purification and mind liberation, that means the enlightenment or achieving Nibbana, it's not possible. That is the authoritative declaration of Buddha. That's what all of you should keep in the mind. All other paths where the right view is not there, it's all beating around the bush. You end up in nowhere. Thoroughly understand this. It's all a kind of little bit of excitement, and again you fall into a lot of depression also, where there is no right view. All other teachings. I was also into so many teachings, so many views, so many gurus, so many. So where there is no right view, it was all like disappointing. It's all like depressing and disappointing, and completely it's like one big traps. Even to escape from them is also difficult. In that way, if you are smart enough, you should appreciate that you are getting this right view. You are establishing in this right view. That is a very reason why I named this organization also as Center for Right View Meditations. So in that way, Buddha is authoritatively declaring that no Aryas, they're all Aryas, these four kinds of Aryas, Sotapanna, Sagadagami, Anagami, Arahants, who have seen Nibbana at different levels. You can't see these Aryas if that sect or if those teachings, if they lack this right view. Of course, this right view is the beginning of the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, Subhadda, in this path, in this Dhamma, in this discipline of this Noble Eightfold Path, it starts from right view. And in it are to be found ascetics of the first, second, third, and fourth grade. Those other schools which are devoid of, they're all devoid of this right view, or they are devoid of the ascetics. These ascetics you can't see in other sects. In that way, authoritatively Buddha declares. And in this right view path also, dedication to this is important. Again, many people have seen in many Buddhist countries and in India also, simply the lip service, they don't stick on to this right view, and they don't based on that, they don't practice the discipline, they don't practice the meditations or other basic things, punya kriyas or paramis. Simply, though they're claiming that they follow Buddha, they don't follow this right view, based this right path. And then there also, you don't see this Nibbana or this liberation or the true happiness. They too will be in some kind of loop, or they too will be in some kind of confusion and depression. If the corruption happened in this path and they don't stick on to right view. So in that way, if in this path also, if they lead this with perfection, the world would not lack for arahants. In this path also, you don't have commitment. You lead a very lax life, and you will be in misery. You can't achieve this mind purity, mind liberation. And if you are committed to this path and develop a deeper understanding of right view and thereby practice other things based on right view, then there is no dearth for the arahants. Then there is no dearth for the absolute peace. There is no dearth for the absolute people with these absolute achievements. So in that way, Buddha encouraged this Subhadda to understand right view and to follow this right path, not getting bothered about others. So many people, they climb in the name of wisdom, in the name of even Buddha also they climb. Don't subscribe. There is no need to subscribe to all such pomp and show off. Just understand right view, establish in this, and that will take care of everything. So in that way, he encouraged this Subhadda. 29 years of age I was when I went forth to seek the good. Now over 50 years have passed since the day I went forth to roam the realm of wisdom's law, outside of which no ascetic is. After I discovered this Noble Eightfold Path, which starts from right view at the age of 35, almost 50 years are over. No, after went forth, that means at the age of 29. So from the age of 30 to 80, that means 50 years are over after I left my house. So of course, he discovered at the age of 35. That means almost 45 years. I am very sure that after I discovered this right view-based right path, this Noble Eightfold Path, and after teaching, I know very well that after learning this right view only, people are getting liberated. And I too established in this liberation, and my disciples are also established in liberation. Other schools of such are bare. Other schools where this right view is not there, they are bare. I don't see even one ascetic, one person who is practicing other views, other paths. There is not even one. But here, if you practice perfectly, then the world won't lack for arhants. So that's why practicing this right view-based path is the key for achieving true peace, establishing in peace and liberation, purity, true happiness. This is the key. In that way, Buddha gave very appropriate answer to this question posed by this Subhadda. And that clicked. After all, he was also a wise man, this Subhadda. It clicked immediately. Excellent, Lord, excellent. It is as if someone were to set up what had been knocked down, or to point out the way to one who had got lost, or to bring an oil lamp into a dark place, so that those with eyes could see what was here, what was there. Just so the blessed Lord had expounded the Dhamma in this beautiful way. And I, Lord, go to refuge to the blessed Lord, the Dhamma and the Sangha. May I receive the going forth in the Lord's presence. May I receive ordination. So see, in this very small conversation, it completely changed his wrong view, his doubts, his perplexities in the mind, his confusions in the mind. And he could thoroughly establish in this right view, in this path, which starts from right view. And immediately he started requesting Buddha also. I take refuge, this Tiratana, and please make me, I will go forth also in the Lord's presence. You are still there. In your presence, I want to take these robes also. I want to renunciate. I want to be a committed monk under your dispensation. May I receive ordination. In that way, he requested Buddha. So again, Buddha put some condition. So now you are coming from other school. You have practiced so many other things. You have come from other school. You have to wait for 4 months. Generally, that is the condition. But there are some exceptions also. This is the general condition. They have to wait for 4 months. But there are some exceptions also. In that way, Buddha told him. But Subhadda, he was so excited, he was so happy with Buddha's wisdom, Buddha's ability to convince him about this right view-based path. He told, if that is the condition, I can wait for even 4 years, my Lord. It's not a big thing for me. Such an authoritative path, when I got it, so I can even wait for 4 years. So I'm ready for that. In that way, when he told, Then Buddha, of course, he knew very well that he has that ability to uh, establish in this monkhood and to achieve that Nibbana quickly. So then he told, all right, so now as an exception, I will just permit you to take the robes. And he told Ananda to ordain him. And within no time, actually, this Subhadra, they say, that he was ordained by Ananda. And he prized Ananda also. So you are my preceptor, you are the one who ordained me. So then immediately, of course, he became Arhant also. Within no time, he became Arhant also. Thus, then Subhadra received the going forth in the Lord's presence and the ordination. And from the moment of his ordination, Venerable Subhadra, alone, secluded, unwearying, zealous, and resolute, in a short time attained to that for which young men of good family go forth from the household life into homelessness, that unexcelled culmination of the holy life, having realized it here and now by his own insight and dwelt therein, birth is destroyed, holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there is nothing further here. And the Venerable Subhadra became another of the Arhants. He was the last personal disciple of the Lord Buddha. So the time when he took ordination and he just committed himself for this seclusion and meditation, within no time he became an Arhant. And he was the last one who was personally converted by Buddha. By Buddha's teachings, he got inspired and worked on it. He was liberated personally by Buddha. And then what happened to this Mahāparinibbāna, that is Subhadda's story. And here then Lord said to Ananda, Ananda, it may be that you will think the teacher's instruction has ceased. Now we have no teacher. It should not be seen like this. Ananda, for what I have taught and explained to you as Dhamma and discipline, Vinaya. Discipline means like that, the rules and regulations that one should follow, and the teachings is Dhamma. At my passing, they will be your teacher. In that way, Buddha has again, he gives confidence to everyone that the teacher is not there. In that way, nobody should feel like that. Teachings are there. My disciplinary rules are there. Stick on to them. Then you need not bother about the teacher. You need not bother about who is my next successor also to lead this Sangha, this group. There is no need of successor also. You need not think about teacher also. My teachings are there. My disciplinary rules are there. If you follow them, understand them, practice them, that's it. That is good enough. So in that way, Buddha encouraged everyone not to wail, not to feel bad that they are losing their teacher. They will not meet the teacher from that day onwards. They need not feel like that. Teachings are there. They are more than enough for you. That will help you to a great extent. In that way, Buddha assured them. So then the next section will commence this sixth section that we will see next week, and that will conclude our discussion on this Mahāparinibbāna Sutta. Okay. So that is about this Subhadda's story, how the importance of right view Buddha could teach to this Subhadda, and that itself was good enough for him to develop complete faith in this path. And he took seclusion by taking robes, by getting ordained, and he became Arhant in no time. And again, Buddha, how he prized this place of this Mahāparinibbāna, that is Kushinara, and how he inspired the audience, the people around. Of course, mentioned to Ananda about the 4 places where the people will get a lot of faith and they could establish in this path. The place of birth, Lumbini, the place of enlightenment, Bodh Gaya, the place of first teaching, that is Sarnath, the place of this Mahāparinibbāna, that is Kushinagar. If people visit these places and get inspired by the life events of Buddha, automatically they will fall in this path. And if they die also during this pilgrimage, it will not be of any harm for them. They will take rebirth in the divine realms. That much assurance Buddha gives. about the importance of visiting these holy places, where all the even the Arahants and the Marias, they visit those places, even the divine beings, and they bring in that great vibrations or the great power, energy to those places. Also, when you go there, automatically that faith itself is a very powerful thing. So you will dive into that ocean of faith if you visit these places. That itself is good enough to establish you in this path and thereby to achieve this goal of purification and liberation of mind. And also Buddha talks about the greatness of this Kushinara, how it was the capital of this Mahasudarsana, and how the remains of the Buddha should be treated just like that of their wheel turning monarch, it should be treated. And then how Buddha inspired the beauty of this right view, and how once a person establishes in this right view, even the divine beings will come and protect you and they'll honor you, worship you. So those things also we have seen. So how the divine beings, they used to assemble to see Buddha, to have the last glimpse of Buddha, the last sight of Buddha at the time of Mahāparinibbāna. So in that way, the path is the key. To establishing the path is the key. All other things, even to get all kinds of honor and respect from the divine beings, also automatically it will fall in place. That's what is what we have learned here in this fifth section of this Mahāparinibbāna Sutta. The last section, next week we will see. Okay, if you have some quick questions, you can ask and then we'll conclude.
Vandami Bantiji.
Sadhu, Sukhyontu Pasak.
Today's your lecture overwhelmed me, and the words of Buddha in Kushinara in the last minute, it touched my heart today.
Yeah, it is very inspiring, very emotional also. Yeah, I agree. Yes, Super.
There are two questions, Bhanteji.
Yeah.
One question, why Buddha laid down by putting his head towards north? Number one question.
Correct.
Number two question, when Venerable Buddha Rakshita Mahathero died, I went there for his ritual, for final. On that day, I observed there was a rainbow form. That is one thing. Another thing, in Taiwan, I was told, because I had visited twice in Taiwan, there one of the monks explained me that during one of the greatest monk death, while burning, one photographer has taken a photo. In that photo, the photographer could get a lotus form. Instead of flames, he could get a photograph of a lotus flower. So how it was possible in these two cases? One rainbow formation, their lotus formation.
Yeah, they told you, no, in
yeah,
when to even the divine beings, they show their reverence. Just like in the case of Buddha also, there was some divine music, divine fragrance, divine flowers blossoming and all. So many things will happen. So in that way, you can see so many things. So many supernormal things will happen when they are when the great monks or great enlightened ones are. So during their demise, such kind of things may happen. So many things. When I was in Myanmar, when some elderly monks, when they expired, when So many things happened. And some dead bodies, they are fresh. There was no much protection. There was just, there is one dead body of one, they say one Arahant, I think. He is an Arahant or Anagami. His body is still fresh even after 70 years. And in that way, and even it will actually, some fragrance, even still one can experience, one can feel some fragrance in that place, in that room where the dead body is there. And in that way, so many things happens. And sometimes some people, they hype it also. Sometimes it is real also. They simply hype. Some people, they create some stories around that. Or sometimes some significant thing happen, they multiply it, they magnify it. So with the whatever it may be, that the point here, the underlying fact here is, the underlying truth here is like when there is some kind of superiority in the mind, when they are achieving purity in the mind, then even the divine beings, they honor you, they respect you. That is the underlying fact. That is the underlying truth one should understand. One should imbue from this kind of different incidents. In that way, one should not give much importance to this, can get carried away by this, because nowadays, in this modern day, even many times they hype it also, and then they want to create some blind faith in their sector, in their tradition. That also one should be careful. And that's why one should not be bothered much also. It's all, if somebody is being respected, it's all right, it's fine. I will also appreciate and respect. Somebody is not respected. It's all, you see, karma, You have purified your mind, and automatically other people will respect. If you are not purified, they will not be respected. Okay. One should not take these things too seriously, because when you take these things too seriously, then people who hype this, who magnify this, who try to bluff and who try to exploit also, that also I have seen. That you can see in so many other sects also, in other religions also, or even among the so-called Buddhist sects. People try to exploit that. That's why one should not be getting carried away with these kinds of hypes and with this kind of supernormal events that they may say, that may hype, and that you can see and all. But one underlying fact is, when any individual who is really true, is truly dedicated to this mind purification and mind liberation, he will be respected by the divine beings also, the supernormal powers also, the supernormal beings in this existence also. They will respect them. That is the truth. That is the fact that one should understand. That's it.
Question number 1, Bhanteji. Why Buddha laid his head towards the north side?
Correct. Generally, people say while sleeping, you should not, like say, keep your head towards the north side, because like there are so many ways that people explain this north side, this North Pole impact. Because of that, there'll be the science explanation, spiritual explanation. Of course, that there may be some relation between this spiritual explanation and scientific explanation. The scientific explanation is because of this magnetic north in the northern direction, so it will affect your magnetic waves of the brain, and you may not get good sleep. That's why generally for sleeping, to give rest to the mind, the north is not preferred. But for awareness, after all, Buddha is like, say, Buddhatva means like awareness. He is supposed to take Parinibbāna in the most conscious state, complete awareness. That we will see in the next week, with absolute awareness, achieving jhanas, achieving all kinds of jhanas, and again coming back to fourth jhana. That means he was into that absolute awareness states. So if you want to be in the absolute awareness states, so this magnetic north also it may be having some impact. But I am trying to connect the scientific explanation with the spiritual explanation. That may be one of the reasons. There may be some deeper significance also, but this word generally people they relate. You see, while for sleeping it is not good, keeping your head towards north. But for awareness, it is the best. It is good. That's why Buddha he used to keep his head towards the north side, especially when he was taking Mahāparinibbāna. And also this lion's posture. This lion's posture means like keeping his head on the right hand and uh, his left leg on the right leg. He used to keep and he used to take rest because again it keeps you with more awareness. In the scientifically, they don't appreciate this posture for good. Rather, they suggest the other direction. On the left hand, one can sleep. That's what the scientific explanation. But this Buddha's posture, Buddha keeping his head towards north, especially during this Mahāparinibbāna, it is to have more awareness. In that way, I have understood. Upasak.
Thank you very much, Bhanteji.
Sat Sukhi Hunt. Okay. Any other thing?
Vandami Bhanteji.
Sat Sukhi Hunt Upasak.
Bhanteji, can we arrange a visit to 4 sacred places in next future?
Yeah, we can arrange definitely. But who will arrange?
Yeah, that is the question.
Of course, we'll arrange. It should not be a big thing. So our coordinators and all, they are smart enough, they are intelligent enough. I think we can arrange. Yeah, we will plan Upasak. So after this May, it will be very hot, even in May also. But still, of course, I mean, even in March also, it will be hot. Like hot season will start in North India and here in Lumbini also. Maybe in September, October, it may be more convenient, or in after September, October to February will be more convenient. We'll plan maybe next November or December, I think it may be suitable. We'll make it this year, I think. We'll make it. Last year, we were busy with so many other things, I think, last year, yeah. So this year, I think we'll make it.
After Varshavas.
After Varshavas, yeah, correct. After Varshavas, it will be pleasant. Yeah, we'll make it. Or in, even in Lumbini, it will be hot in April. Only here it will be pleasant in my place, Pokhara. Yeah, after Varshavas was only, I think, suitable.
Thank you,
Sorry, any other thing? Okay, these practice sessions, now we have stopped and we'll start maybe from next month. This month, we have this course, 15 days course, 3-part, 5 days, 3-part course, 15 days course. All of you, of course, definitely you can join, and you can tell other people also. At least each one of you who thinks that this will give some clarity about this right view meditations and Dhamma. It will help people. If that is very clear, then you can tell other people and see that at least each one of you enroll some 3 people. It should spread. Expansion is life. Expansion of Dhamma is actually the way we can also expand in Dhamma. In that way, if you understand the underlying power of this expansion, tell at least some 2, 3 people, see that more and more people get this right view. As Buddha has given the message even at the last minute of his Mahāparinibbāna. Establishing in right view is the key to establish in this path and to derive true happiness. To take this message of Buddha, which was given on this last stage, which helped even this Subhadra spontaneously he could get it. That way, just help some other people also and see that more and more people get this right view and right view based mind culture, training the mind. This is our message in this Mahāparinibbāna Sutta. Okay, I think with this we'll conclude. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanganubhavena sada swati bhavantu te sukhi bhaveyan nidduko aham nicha aham hita cha me sukhi huntu majjata chataverino mam hi gammante dhamme satta hontu sukhi sada ato paranchara jesu chakkavale sujantuno. Sad, Sukhi Hunt, Mangal Ho. May all of you be happy, healthy, and peaceful. May all beings also be happy, healthy, and peaceful. May more and more people establish in this right view. May all of you be the, like say, the bridge to connect this right view to more and more people. Sukhi Hunt, Mangal Ho.